learn something from history and recognize whether it's good, bad, or plain docile. At the end of the day, it's what we take out of it. The events that have come from history are very important, and I'm going to be talking about them today. I've always loved history. Ever since I was a kid, I would watch little videos and whatnot, and generally would learn more from the videos than I would from Mr. Biram. But at the end of the day, I watch a lot of videos and learn a lot from them. Today I'll be talking about why we need to learn about the good and bad side of history, the importance of history to our society, the accomplishments that people have made, and we recognize them. Bad history is just as important as good history, in my opinion. Not the same morally. I don't think the Constitution and the Holocaust are the same morally, but they are the same when it comes to importance. With the impact they've had, they're both very similar. We learn history to remember, but not to give bad people light. We learn to not let these things happen again. The good side of history is just as important. The end of slavery is another event that has happened. That's a good side. The independence of our country, women's right to vote. Those are all good, and we should try to innovate and expand with these things. The idea of good and bad can be reversed in different ways, as something as simple as the color of our money. In the USA, our money is all green, and in England, it's all different colors. It's red, as you can see up here, blue. It's something we disagree on, but it's small, and that's why we're so polarized today. We disagree with so many things. We know why not to forget. Now we need to know why history is important to society. The world was shaped by history. Literally everything. I mean, people in power, the countries that are in power today, it's all been shaped by history. I think something that's really important today is the Earth's history. I mean, climate change is a really pressing issue for a lot of people, and I think it's really important to me too. I mean, it should be important to everybody. As the human's population increases, so does the amount of CO2 and greenhouse emissions in the air. But that doesn't mean we're not taking steps to improve on that. Since renewable energy is bigger than ever right now. According to EIA.gov, 12.6% of Americans' power is renewable. A massive jump from the 20th century which was way lower than that. U.S. history is really interesting to me because I think, we're all American here, so it's interesting to me just because our founding, the wars we've been in, the presidents, and U.S. history is really important to the world also because, a lot of different things wouldn't be happening to the world if it wasn't for the U.S., and I think that's important too. From the world, U.S. history, it's been a couple minutes away in a lot of different times, like the revolution and the Cuban Missile Crisis. We've been a couple minutes away from us not having what we have today. If the revolution didn't pan out, we wouldn't be here. If the Cuban Missile Crisis didn't pan out, well, I think we would be nuked and not living. The world is marked by many great accomplishments. Edison, a lot of people think of Edison's light bulb as a great accomplishment, which is true. The first car or the first iPhone. There's a new iPhone every year. We're innovating every day. But in my eyes, the best innovation is democracy. According to History.com, the first democracy was in Greece, Athens, Greece. And I think it's important because it gives power to the people instead of an overlooming government. Major events like the first man on the moon, the Olympics, the United Nations, really show how we have united as a world, which makes sense, United Nations, United World. Those events really have brought us together. Another thing I think is really important is medicine. We take it for granted and we think it's boring, which it kind of is. I mean, it's medicine. But it's very important because if we didn't have vaccines, we probably would be dying from polio and different things like that right now. Ringworm, smallpox, a lot of different things we would be dying from. According to ACS.org, penicillin was founded in London, and that is the first antibiotic, which I think it's known as the first antibiotic. So I've told you today not to forget the importance to history, to society, inventions and ideas in history, and whether you're bored in history class or somehow finding it around, just know history is important to the world.